disability, or that I've had this illness, or this experience, or this setback. But in fact, behind that curtain, that veil of culture and mythology about who we are, the brain is going, okay, let's do it this way. But we could try it this way. But we could work it this way. And there's proof of this. I did a story a while back for NBC News about something called the iBot. It's a sophisticated wheelchair that the inventor designed. Dean Kamen, he's a really smart guy, an incredible nerd. You know, I mean, he has an IQ of about 250, and you know, and his sense of humor basically hasn't progressed beyond like fart jokes. So you don't want to take him out in company. But he's a brilliant, brilliant guy, and he designed the iBot to go upstairs. That was the most important thing to him. And what he discovered when he made the technology, which involves actually balancing, creating a 2-point balance system for a wheelchair, which is, as you can see, my wheelchair is a 4-point balance system. His wheelchair goes up on 2 wheels and uses the rotation of those wheels to go up steps. What he discovered is that people who like this chair weren't really interested in going up steps. They've figured out through OT and through their own sort of hot dogging how to get around the step problem. Hey, can you help me up the steps? Hey, could we go to the ramp restaurant instead? Hey, forget the steps. Let's do something else tonight. The steps weren't the issue. But what was great about this chair was that it balanced. It got you up at your former height. And what everyone who experienced this chair, and I predicted it to Dean, and Dean said, I don't know what you're talking about, but people want to go upstairs. That's really the important thing. Don't waste your time with the stairs, Dean. It's the balance thing that is important. We set up this big Dateline shoot to shoot people, you know, demonstrating the chair. Dean wanted me to get it. I said, no, it doesn't matter what I think about it. What matters is people coming straight out of rehab into this chair. That's what matters. So we put him in the chair, and, you know, he said, want to try the steps? And I said, no. Want to go through the weird gravel obstacle course? No, I'm not really interested in that. Well, what do you want to do? And I said, Dean, check it out. He said, I'd like to reach that box of Rice Krispies off the top shelf. That's what they wanted to do. Now that's sort of a PT issue there, okay? But here's where it gets OT. When those people got up on 2 wheels, every single one of them had a profound emotional reaction, including myself, because their mind was telling them that they were standing. In other words, the balance mechanism in the complicated servo motors that were keeping those 2-point wheels balanced exactly mimicked what was still going on in the mind. The idea that I have this capability to balance. And so every single one of those people felt like they were standing. Which only means that the mind doesn't care what's down below. The mind is simply interested in getting the Rice Krispies box any way it can. Which means that we're free. Which means that we're liberated. Which means that occupational therapy, unlike PT, is not a cosmetic exercise in restoring us to some identity we no longer have. It's pushing through to the identity we are trying to find. The identity that is this improvising and finding a different way to be because the mind is happy to be in a wheelchair. If that's what it takes, mind will do it. Who gives them permission to think that? You do. Permission to collaborate with mind and space and with what we've got. You know, you look at those pictures of the Katrina aftermath and the tile project. I mean, you can just hear it happening. No, here, these are some blue tiles. Here, you can, oh, it's great. The border here is great. All of a sudden, people are involved. Objects have been changed. They're no longer debris. They're part of the new identity. The identity that we've been through it. The identity that we've become something else. But in fact, we haven't changed because what are humans? Why are we successful? We are improvisers. We are able to make do with what we have. Imagine this situation, because the other issue I want to talk about is the extraordinary imbalance. I mean, it is universal, this improvising notion. And all of you see it, because when you encounter an actual client, they grasp it. They get it. It's when you encounter, the budget people that they have a little more difficulty figuring out what it is you do exactly. But the people get it. The lights on the faces mean that this is real, this is universal. But in our healthcare system, we have a different kind of balance. What do we spend our money on? Well, let's look at it this way. I've told this story a bunch of times. Some of you maybe have heard it. But, it's still one of the most popular shows on television. ER. You know how it goes. Save my father, save my father. Stat, bring the card in. All right, I need a defibrillator now. 5, I need atropine. We're going to have to pull the chest. Save my father. Beep, 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 beep. Stand back. Blood pressure dropping. Stand back. Blood pressure dropping. Doctor, save my father. I think he's back. All right, prep him for surgery. Oh, thank you. Go to commercial. That's an exciting show. ER. It's really not an accident, though, that there isn't a hit show called OT. How would that go? You want me to pick up the cup? Pick up the cup. I don't think I can pick up the cup. Pick up the cup. Do I have to pick up the cup? Pick up the cup. You can pick up the cup. Oh, I'm picking up the... You're picking the cup up. I picked the cup up. I picked the cup up. Pick the cup up. What do I do now? Go to commercial. We're in love with acute care in America. We're in love with cures. We're in love with beep, 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 beep. MRIs, sophisticated pictures. But why aren't we in love with rehab? I mean, maybe rehab isn't a great TV show, but as a sort of societal phenomenon, it's gigantic. One of the great myths of medicine is that the money that you spend on acute care is going to reduce the amount of rehabilitative care. There's been one example of that in all of human medical history, and that's the vaccine for polio. That's it. Yet we design all of our healthcare budgets on the idea that every cure, every machine, every pharmaceutical, every device that we invent is going to eliminate those people in the iron lungs and the wheelchairs and make sure that they don't burden our society anymore. Well, has it worked out that way? No. No. In fact, dollar for dollar, what we spend on acute care is multiplied in terms of maybe not investment, but in terms of need by a factor of 10. The more we invest in acute care, the more we need rehabilitative care, the more we need long-term care. I mean, years ago, in the 70s, I've been in a wheelchair 30 years, I can't even believe that. I was, some nursing home programming, I forget what they were calling them back then. It was changing from nursing home to something, it was an MRDD facility. These are all archaic terms anymore, but somebody made the mistake of hiring me, okay, to be one of these programmer orderly types. And I was in